Hey guys, Marstingen here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to be doing the team building guide for INT Angel Golden FRIEZA EZA, which will be coming out on JP in around 12 hours or so from the release of this video. So, as always with my team building guides, we're going to go over the details of the event, and then the top picks and honourable mentions for the team. The weakness is Defenders of Justice, so this is Videl's category. Obviously, because Angel Golden FRIEZA is INT, you obviously do not want to bring tech units straight away from stage 4. They're going to be doing way less damage. And then from stage 12, you can't use Extreme. Well, from stage 13. But Defenders of Justice, I think, literally has 0 Extreme units on it anyway. So that's not really that much of an issue. So essentially, all you want to do is not be using Super Tech and not using any Extreme. So STR, Physical, AGL and INT are all going to be good to go. So typical 30 stage EZA, you do all the stages to get all the medals. There's the typical missions for just using the category team and then beating stage 10 and stage 20 within a certain amount of time, which shouldn't be too difficult. So you're going to get like 34 stones in total. You also, of course, get 11 of the Kais. I don't know why they've put their STR image on here, but it's going to be 11 INT Kais. So you can get them up to SA 15, as well as having some left over, which is always very good. So, Defenders of Justice. This is a lot smaller than a lot of the other categories in the game. So, therefore, they usually directly correlate. Like, this EZA is probably not going to be particularly difficult, because there are not a huge amount of options. Like, I mean, you look at the team, there's 2 LRs, one of which we're not really going to use because he's tech, and then that's it for the TURs. So this one, there's, in terms of the top picks and honourable mentions, it's a lot of the units outside of the tech ones. I'm not going to mention any tech ones, but we will cover some that you could potentially use for team building later on, probably at the end. So, as always, like I said at the start, top picks and honourable mentions. If there's any units you think I missed out or should have talked more about, let me know down below in the comment section. And if you find this guide helpful at all, do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. So, Vedel is of course the category leader. You don't really see many of her around on the friends list, but usually when an EZA comes out, you do see a lot of people set their friend to the leader that you need. So because she covers the entire Defenders of Justice category, even if you build your team using some other leader options, which we are going to talk about, obviously a friend Vedel will cover that entire team. So, Vedel is actually very good on her own team. That's always been, like, the criticism for her. Like, she's only really good on her team. But, on her team, she is very good. She's got good start of turn stats. She has a high chance to dodge in slot 1. And then gets a guaranteed additional super attack in slot 1 or 2. She gets buffs based on whether she dodges or whether she gets hit, so her ideal turn is actually to have at least one of each. And then she's able to do a ton of damage. She has a unit super attack, where she greatly raises attack instead of normal raise. And you get that just by having a Gohan teen, Ultimate Gohan, or Great Sailman on the team, which is obviously very easy to do with her leader skill. So she's probably the go-to leader if you just want to use any unit on the category, because she covers the whole thing, and she's very good, so it's not a detriment to the team. So, next up we have Jacko, who's obviously brand new to JP. He's on the Resurrection of F Blue Boys banner. He's a Defenders of Justice lead for 130, so again, he covers the whole category. He's got decent attack and defense at the start of the turn, as well as giving himself Ki, which is good, because his links are not the best within this team. There's a few units that have Patrol, but, like, yeah, his links are not necessarily the best. I guess some of the Saiyan have signature pose as well. But he's another unit that covers all of the units on the category if you want to use him as a leader. You can't lower attack or stun in an EZA, but you do get extra attack because you're fighting an extreme class enemy. He can dodge, so he's going to be very useful in the event as well, even if you're using him as a leader or not. And then free-to-play options, you got this guy, the Gohan, who immediately transforms into Saiyan. He's pretty good. He's got a 77% leader skill, raised attack and defense on super. He is actually quite good. He gets damage reduction when there's a Peppy Gals or Youth ally in the same turn. So obviously if you are running him with Vedel, it's quite easy to do this. And he's pretty decent. Even if you're running a full like 170 lead, he's a good free-to-play option. And then the same with these, the STR Great Saiyan and Vedel. They are pretty solid as well. Raise attack and defense on super. They have a 50% leader skill, which is a bit low. But they are a Defenders of Justice support unit as well, so they can help benefit the team just by being on the rotation. So next up we have the physical Great Saiyaman 1 and 2, the only LR really that you're going to use because Jiren is tech. You can use them as a leader, but their leader skill is obviously a little bit more restrictive. It gives HP, attack and defense 130% and 3 key, which is much better than the other two free-to-play options, but the team has to include all 5 super types. So you have to have one unit of each colour, or each typing, physical, AGL, STR, etc. So that does limit the team building a little bit, but it's not very difficult to do that with this team. But, of course, that will mean that you have to bring a tech unit. So you can use them as a leader, probably not the most optimal, but I would say just because their leader skill is higher, they're better than the other free-to-play option cards for the leader skill. And then, of course, if you're just using a different leader, they're really good on the team. They support the super class allies with key and defense, which is obviously very good. You're fighting an extreme class enemy, so they get a additional attack that has a chance to become a super. So these guys are really, really good. They raise attack and defense on both of their supers as well, and then they raise super class allies attack with their 18 key for 2 turns. So even if you use them as a slot 3 floater, this is going to be buffing the next rotation as well. So now we get on to a fairly lengthy, I'm not going to talk in huge detail about each of the units, but there are a lot of Dragon Ball Heroes units that are on Defenders of Justice. Basically every single character that in the Heroes like story, I guess, is part of the Time Patrol is on Defenders of Justice. So obviously if you're somebody who's never bothered to summon on the Heroes banners, you're not going to have any of these units, so this part's not going to be as helpful for you. But if you do have some of them are going to be very, very useful. And if you have all of them, obviously Pan has a leader skill for crossover 150, so she can be used as a leader. There's a couple of the other ones that we'll talk about that will be used as leaders as well. So she's a support unit for Dragon Ball Heroes, so obviously that helps if you're bringing a bunch of those on the team. Even if you're only bringing a few, it's nice to get that extra support, because she does have a 50% chance to dodge, she has a 50% chance to crit, she gets extra defense each time she dodges. So if she dodges a bunch of attacks and then gets hit with a super, she's going to take a lot less damage. And she gets extra buffs per hero's ally on the same turn. So she is still good even without a lot of other heroes units around her. But with them, she obviously becomes even better. So next up we have the Super Saiyan 3 Gohanks and the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. These two are designed to be run together. You won't get any real effect out of their super attack effects, but basically they stack up their stats with each attack performed, 30% up to 120, and they get a guaranteed additional super if there's a hero's ally attacking in the same turn. They have the status effect thing as well, but you obviously can't necessarily get that in this. Early stages you can, like the first couple, but that's going to be it. So these two together, not only do they share a ton of links because they're both Super Saiyan 3s, but they obviously are then being run on rotation with another heroes unit, so they get guaranteed additional super attacks. So these two are actually going to be really, really good. They'll still be good by themselves, but obviously there's no other Super Saiyan 3s on this team, so it is ideal to run them both together if you can. Then we have Vegeto, so he's an infinite defense stacker. It's not a long form event, so you can't stack up his defense to like an insane level, but he gets a good amount of start of turn attack and defense as well as more on super attack. He builds up crit chance with each super up to 50%, and then he launches an additional super when the target enemy is in attack down, which again, unfortunately, I'm not really going to be able to do. But it's defense down, stunned, or sealed, so I think you can lower defense. Let's see. Oh wow, no, you literally can't lower defense right from the start, and you can lower attack up until stage 15. So for the first 14 stages you can get some of those abilities to go off, but even so he's going to be very good. He's probably one of the weaker options out of the heroes units, but he still is going to be pretty good. Next up we have Vegeto, so he actually has a better leader skill than Pan, crossover 170, so you could run him as a leader and run a full heroes team. And as I said at the beginning, even if Videl is the friend lead, obviously she's not going to get the buff from these guys, so she is going to be looking a bit weaker. But it'd be interesting to see if anyone does set like Super Saiyan 4 Vegetos, because I do honestly think a full Heroes team is actually probably one of the most optimal teams if you want to run a full Defenders of Justice team, because the Heroes units are really, really good. Vegeto can counter supers, he buffs crossover allies, he raises defense on super, he's just a very good unit. And obviously very good for this event as well because he is physical. So then we have the Super Saiyan Goku, Xeno. Now this guy, he's a Goku family support unit. Even if you're not running any Goku family units or any other heroes units, if you have this guy, he should be on the team, right? He's super good. He greatly raises attack and defense on super. He's physical. His stats are good. And then, of course, he's buffing Goku family. So if you are bringing 1 or 2 Gohans on the team as well, then he's going to benefit them greatly. So this guy is probably like a must run on the team if you have him, even if you're not running any other heroes units, or even if you're not running any Gohans or any other Goku family units. He's really, really good. Zeno Vegeta is not as good. I mean, they're both basically the same. Greatly raised attack and defense, but he supports Vegeta family, which there's not going to be any other ones of on the team. And of course, he's int, not physical. So that's the only reason why he's not as good. I mean, these two units are almost identical, apart from their links and stuff. So honestly, even though they're not supporting each other, if you have both of them, you could just run these two as a rotation together because they do share a lot of links. So that rotation would actually be pretty good. Then we have Super Saiyan 3 Zeno Vegeta. He's going to get his EZA later this year. Until he gets it, he's not the best unit, especially when it comes to defense. But he is physical and he can hit pretty hard. If you have the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks or Gohanks and you don't have the other one, then he's another good unit to run them with. Because actually, I did say there wasn't another Super Saiyan 3, but I forgot about this guy and the Goku. So this guy can be pretty good for damage, but his defense is not particularly great. But he can be good on the team as well. Then we have the INT Videl with her EZA. So moving off of the heroes units. I didn't bring up the Goku page, so let's get that open real quick here. Goku will still be good in this event before his EZA because he has guaranteed guard. He gets damage reduction based on how many heroes units you have on the team. So again, a full heroes team is going to be really, really good for this EZA. So, yeah, he's just very solid. Doesn't do a huge amount of damage. His defense isn't crazy nowadays, but, like, he's got the damage reduction and the guard. So, he's going to be very, very good. So, let's go back to, yeah, we're at Videl. So, Videl gets more stats with more Peppy Gals on the team, which there's some of. Obviously, there's the STR Videl. You can't run the two together, though, because remember, EZAs, you can't use the same name units. So, obviously, if you're running STR Videl as the leader, you can't run her. But if you're having to use, like, the physical Sailman 1 and 2, for example, because you don't have a better leader, then she's going to be very good on the team. She heals based on the damage she does, which is obviously good for an EZA because you can't use items. So she is pretty good. Then we have this High School Gohan from the World Tournament. Still probably one of the better free-to-play, like, TURs. I guess World Tournament ticket units are technically free-to-play. He has damage reduction. He buffs super class allies. He's just a very good, like, third slot floating unit that you're not going to have to worry about getting you absolutely destroyed in slot 3 because he is quite capable defensively. Next up, we have the Super Saiyan Great Saiyaman. Depending on your team build, he can be pretty good. His stats are pretty reasonable overall, but he buffs Majin Buu Saga superclass allies. So there's a lot of the units on the team, like the different Saiyamen, Videl, Gohans, that are all on Majin Buu Saga. So if you're not running a team that's leaning in towards heroes a bit more, you're probably going to have a lot of Majin Buu Saga units. And he is a support unit for that team, so he's going to be very good on here. Then we have the physical Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. He supports all allies for 2 key and 35% attack and defense, which is really good. He has a medium chance to crit and a medium chance to dodge, starting from the turn in which the character has performed a third super. So when he super attacks 3 times, he then has built-in dodge and crit chance. EZA events are not usually super long, so unless you get like an additional super on turn 1 or something, you're probably not going to see that ability that much. But he has type advantage, his stats are good, he's given that support, he greatly raises defense on super, so as a third slot support unit, he's still going to be able to hold his own defensively as well. So in terms of supports, if you're just running running like a Defenders of Justice lead and not heroes or anything, I would say this guy's probably like a must run on the team, because he's a Gohan, so he'll give STR Videl her unit super if you're using her as the leader, and then he's giving 35% support, so really good. And then last but not least, we have Android 17. So he doesn't fit super well on the team. And obviously he's a little bit outdated now. Like his links are not going to be the best with a lot of the units on the team. But he is physical, he provides defensive support and ki to everyone on the team, and when you're at 77% or less HP, he has 40% damage reduction. So on top of being a physical unit, he's obviously going to be very, very good defensively, whilst also providing that defensive support to everybody else. And obviously not linking up super well with everybody isn't the worst when he gives everybody ki. So, going back to Defenders of Justice. So, the some tech units, because we didn't really talk about any of them. Tech Gohan can be pretty good on Videl's team. Obviously in this event he's not going to do any damage because he's getting that attack reduction, but he does guard, so it doesn't really matter that he's got type disadvantage, right? So his defense is going to be good. He is actually pretty good on Videl's team. But I think looking at them, he's probably the only tech unit I would run. If you want to run a heroes team and Trunks is the best leader you have, he obviously is good on a heroes team. But he's not going to do a lot of damage. He's very good defensively after supering though. So unless he gets hit with a super in the later stages, he probably is actually going to tank reasonably well. But looking at them, I probably wouldn't go for any of the other tech units. This EZA Gohan is super old, but he could be pretty decent on the team, I guess. The free-to-play Saiyan Trunks is actually not terrible either. The STR Jiren, and then you've got like the INT Topo, and then you've got the physical 11 Pride Troopers as well. Like, they could kind of all work well together, but they're very isolated because they don't work super well with a lot of the other units. But they could be honorable mention picks as well. So let me know what you guys think down below. Oh, the one unit that of course I forgot to mention, and I'm sure somebody's going to have commented it already without waiting for it to get this far into the video, but because in Angel Golden Frieza is a Universe Survival Saga character, you can bring Tech Caulifla on the team even if she's not getting the leader skill buff, and she's going to have the 100% chance to dodge. So if you're struggling to find a 6th member for the team, you can use her, and then obviously she's just untouchable in terms of defense. Like, he literally cannot hit her. So she is an option if you want to bring her as well. So let me know what you guys think down below. Like I said at the beginning, if there's any units you think I missed out or I should have talked more about, let me know in the comment section. And let me know what your team build is going to look like for this EZA down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.